Your hair tells a story. It's not just about beauty, it's really a reflection of what's happening inside your body. For me, gut health was the missing piece. Because my gut was compromised, I wasn't absorbing things like iron, B12, or vitamin D, all the key nutrients for hair growth. What happened is that my hair actually didn't grow past my shoulders for almost 5 years after having kids. It wasn't until I uncovered what was really going on inside my gut health and started to heal it that everything changed. Welcome to Fuel Her Awesome, the nutrition pep talk to supercharge your week. I'm Jess, registered dietitian and empowered eating coach, here to help you take your health to that next level. In these bite-sized episodes, we cut right through the noise and blend science with biofeedback and values, all while teaching you how to trust your intricately and beautifully designed body. Because here's the deal, you are awesome, and life is an invitation to show up that way. But you can't do it without food. So let's lean in as we explore how to fuel your awesome with empowered eating. Happy Monday, friend. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome back to the Fuel Her Awesome show. We are mid-September. Can you believe it? It's officially almost fall. Thank goodness, because I've had my pumpkins up for about a month and it's been hot. My family keeps teasing me and saying, Jess, Mama, it is 90 degrees outside. It is not fall, but I have created an internal fall inside my house and I'm so ready for the weather to match my level, It's like, get on my level, Mother Nature. I started doing that actually when I was pregnant with my first son. He's born mid-September, and I remember thinking, I want to come home from the hospital with pumpkins everywhere. So I decorated in August, and I've just made it a tradition ever since, It works. Well, friend, today we're actually breaking down the gut-hair axis. We talk so much about gut health here on the show, and I wanted to dive into how it impacts our hair because I actually have a pretty complex hair story, and I thought it'd be fun to unpack it with you and talk about how there is this direct connection between our gut health and what is happening on our head. Biofeedback is such a crucial part of the empowered eating model, and truly your hair health is a part of your biofeedback system. So we're going to break it down. When I think of my hair story, it goes way, way back. I think hair has always been a form of self-expression for me. In high school, I was actually given the Rainbow Bright Award because I changed my hair color so often. I have these core memories of my best friend and I walking to Walgreens, getting the boxed hair dye and coming back and changing our hair color very often. I mean, maroon, black, blue, purple, blonde, all of it. We would change it often. And I think back now, I'm like, thank God for my resilient, youthful gut health at that time because my hair could withstand all of that. But truly, as I stepped into adulthood, the story shifted and my hair really started to struggle. So ironically, I actually discovered I was pregnant because my hair texture changed so dramatically. I'll never forget it. I woke up, I'm brushing my hair, and it just started breaking. And I washed it, styled it, and it didn't look any better. And I had a little bit of a panic. At the time, I didn't know I was pregnant. But I'm looking in the mirror going, what is happening? My hair is brittle. It feels very fragile. It looks different. I called my hairstylist in a panic. And I was like, listen, something is happening. I sent her a picture. She's like, I'll get you in. She was so sweet. She got me in. I sat down in her chair. She asked me 2 questions. Number 1, she said, Jess, have you changed your vitamin regimen at all? And I hadn't. And then she asked me, are you pregnant? At the time I didn't know. I was like, oh no, I'm not pregnant. There's no way. Little did I know. So anyway, she ended up cutting my hair. And because I was hormonally dynamic, we'll call it, at the time, I was pretty devastated that I had to cut my hair. I remember crying. It was a few days later then that I ended up taking a pregnancy test and it all made sense. But what happened thereafter in the decade after that initial pregnancy was I really started to struggle with my hair. So most people have an increase in hair growth while they're pregnant, and that's because there's an increase in blood flow, there's an increase in nutrient absorption when your body is carrying a baby. But for me, because I had gut imbalances, I actually lost more hair because my body was trying to preserve resources for the growing baby. I actually at one point had 3 different layers of hair around the crown of my head. So my hair loss was the worst after I gave birth. And so I remember after my second son was born, I put my hair up in a ponytail and I had all those little baby hairs like around the crown of my head. And they were distinctly 3 different layers for each of the pregnancies that I had, because I had my first son and then my husband and I, we miscarried and we have a heaven baby between my first and my second. So I had these 3 different layers. And, for years I treated it like a cosmetic issue and a supplement concern. And while those are 2 pieces of the equation, it wasn't until the last few years that I've really seen a significant difference in my hair. And it came down to adding the 3rd piece of the puzzle, which is addressing the root cause imbalance inside my body. And that was my gut health. So when it comes to luscious locks, I think there are 3 pieces of the equation. Number 1, which I can't skip over, is using the right hair products. This was something I have been doing for years, but I think in the last couple, I found products that actually address my specific needs. And I'm actually going to link my girl's hair contact info in the show notes, just in case any of you want to dive into that, because that is a part of the puzzle. Number 2 is making sure we have adequate micronutrients. And then number 3, which isn't what I added until later on in life, and I want to skip that and fast forward it for you and have you add it ASAP, was actually addressing the root cause of the imbalance inside my body. And that was my gut health. So we've got these 3 pieces of the equation, and we're going to spend a lot of time on number 3, which is addressing the root cause imbalance and looking at gut health. Because here is the thing, my friend, your hair is not an isolated system. It's actually a reflection of your internal ecosystem, especially your gut. So when your gut health is compromised, your body's actually going to prioritize survival, not beauty. And that was, for me, amplified when I became pregnant, because all of a sudden the resources that my body had needed to be prioritized for myself and growing a baby. I mean, your body doesn't really care what your hair looks like. I know you do, but your body biologically is prioritizing other elements. So this means non-essential functions like hair growth, they slow down or they can even stop when your body's looking to prioritize some of those other mechanisms. And the only way to fix it is to bring it back into balance. Your gut status impacts how and what you absorb, and nutrition is going to play a huge, huge role in that. And, one of the other things, this is just kind of a side note, but I have to pop this on here because I think it's happening a lot. After COVID hit, we started supplementing with zinc to boost immunity. But here's one of the things that can happen. Over supplementation with zinc competes with copper absorption in your gut, and that imbalance can actually trigger hair loss. So that's another thing I've seen, especially in the last few years. But I think when we look at overall gut health, that allows us to maximize nutrient absorption and create that full head of hair. So if you are feeling frustrated because your hair is thinning, it feels brittle, or maybe you're like me and you couldn't grow your hair, or you can't grow your hair past your shoulders. It was years. I was like, why won't it grow? Don't just look at the products on your shelf. Let's add in that 3rd piece of the equation and address your gut health. If you are not familiar with what a GI map is, what it is it's a stool test. It's what I call the poop report, where you collect a stool sample and it gives us a report card of what I call your microbial landscape. So what are all the different microbes that are lining your gut? These are so important because these are your food interpreters. Nothing passes into your body without first passing through your microbial landscape. And so it really matters what we have there. At the time that my hair would not grow past my shoulders, my symptoms were poor sleep, hair loss, low libido, and I was getting sick very often. And I remember going to my doctor, and she mentioned that I was in perimenopause and suggested I start progesterone. Now, we're going to unpack hormones actually in a couple of weeks, but for me at that time, I knew adding in hormones was not something I wanted to do because I knew I wasn't doing everything I could in the health department. Like I knew my gut health was off. So I thanked her for her recommendation, but said, give me 6 months and let me see if I can work on some of these other elements. And then if I still have these symptoms, I'll come back. I got my GI map done. And what I found was that the dysbiosis, which dysbiosis just means an imbalance in your gut, it was so significant And it was significant enough to not only impact my micronutrient status and my immunity, but it was definitely impacting my hair. The type of dysbiosis that I had it's called insufficiency and inflammatory dysbiosis. So I was carrying a nasty bacteria that was disrupting the stomach acid levels, making it harder to absorb and digest my food. So of course it was impacting my hair. It actually felt good when I got that test and I received it, because I thought, oh my gosh, okay, this makes sense. I'm not, I was trying all these different things. And then when I saw that my food interpreters were off, it was kind of a relief. I was like, oh, okay, I have something to work on. And, I'm not crazy. I'm not broken. I just need to address this imbalance. So I had two major things. Like I said, I had a bacteria called H. pylori, which if you haven't heard of it, it's a common gut pathogen. Many people have it, but high levels can actually disrupt stomach acid levels, making it harder to absorb key nutrients. So I had high levels of H. pylori, and this was impacting my iron, B12, zinc, and folate absorption, which are all really important for hair growth. You need iron to increase the blood flow. B12 helps with the follicle production. Zinc is important, but not too much, as we addressed earlier. And I just wasn't absorbing these guys. When these nutrient levels drop, your hair growth also drops. It can become thin, brittle, and sheds really easily, which is exactly what was happening on the outside. So this poop report really matched what I was seeing on my head. The other thing that came back was that I had low commensal bacteria, or low healthy microbes in my gut. Your beneficial gut bacteria, it's what helps you synthesize B vitamins. It helps convert inactive nutrients into active forms. It produces something called short chain fatty acids that help regulate inflammation. So that layer of healthy bacteria is so crucial in actually getting your body the nutrients it needs to grow hair. And I had very little. I was barely on the charts with these healthy guys. This also contributed to increased inflammation. I wasn't absorbing micronutrition nearly as much, and it was leaving me immunocompromised. I just didn't have the strength in my immune system because I didn't have these guys. What was happening then is that I had low iron, low vitamin D, and a B12 deficiency. And what's crazy is that when I received my lab work at that time, I had low iron, low vitamin D, and low B12. And I remember thinking, why would it be low? I eat so healthy, I eat so much, and I take vitamin D supplements, but the reality was I just didn't have the microbial landscape to optimize on those micronutrients and actually take them in. So iron supports oxygen delivery to your hair follicles. So when that's low, you have a weakened hair shaft, and that's going to result in poor growth. Vitamin D is also in hair follicles, and that's going to help regulate hair growth cycles. So low levels can increase a shedding phase dominance and poor regrowth. And then B12, this one's essential for cell division and red blood cell production. So a deficiency can actually lead to slow cell turnover in the follicle, again, leading to thinning and dullness. This is everything I was experiencing. So once I was able to identify what was happening in my gut and ultimately impacting those micronutrients, I was able to address the root cause, both literally in my gut and figuratively in my hair. Everything shifted. So I removed the pathogen. I went through an H. pylori protocol. This then allowed my stomach to function properly again with better stomach acid and enzyme activity. Digestion improved, and I could finally break down and absorb those key nutrients to help maintain hair growth. My microbiome definitely improved with the right probiotics and providing foods that helped my healthy bacteria thrive. This again allowed for more things like the B vitamins to be produced to help regulate inflammation, and overall just allowed for more blood flow to my hair to finally grow again. Finally, I restored my B12 and vitamin D levels, both by addressing the lack of ability to absorb those micronutrients, but then also giving my body those in additional and adequate forms through appropriate supplementation. These nutrients are especially crucial for energy production, hormone balance, and hair follicle health. So I was able to not only absorb those better, but then give my body the amount that it needed. And then what happened is my hair follicles could finally enter the growth cycle of the face. So once the body had the resources it needed, these follicles could shift out of survival mode and back into steady growth, staying there long enough to actually see length and fullness develop. And it's been so great. I mean, my hair right now, I'm looking at it, it's getting down to my girls, which I don't know if you guys remember the Alanis Morissette video, Thank You, where her hair like covers her chi-chis. And I joked like, that's my goal. I want my hair to cover those. And not that I will be recording a video like that, but I want to look in the mirror and see that. I want those hair follicles to grow and see that hair past my girls. And it's on its way. It's definitely the longest it has been since having children. And I know so much of it is linked back to my overall gut health. So if you're struggling with your hair growth, it may be a sign that your gut health needs attention. Like I mentioned, biofeedback is a key part of the empowered eating model, and these signals are your body's way of asking for care and attention. And this is why I love the advanced testing tools that we now have access to, like the GI map. They give us deeper insight into what's really happening inside our body and allows us to give our body the specific details of what it needs based on what's happening, not like a base, recommendation or an umbrella recommendation. We can actually see what our body specifically needs. It's just incredible. If you want to learn more about GI map testing, or you want to grab my base supplement stack recommendations, you can check out the show notes. I've got a free supplement stack cleanout guide and information on that GI map package that we have for you guys. But as for today, I hope this hair story gives you a little hope. If you're feeling like I was a few years ago, where you were struggling with your hair and thinking extensions are the only option, I'm so glad you landed here today, because there are other things that are within your immediate power to do. Your body isn't broken. I think it just might need a little extra TLC, and through becoming an empowered eater, that's exactly what we can give it. Friend, thanks for being here today. I hope you have a beautiful hair flipping kind of Monday. I'll see you right back here next Monday. Until then, cheers and happy eating. That's a wrap on today's Empowered Eating Pep Talk. If this hits home, be sure to leave a review and share it on your social media, tagging me at JessBrownRD. And girl, if you're ready to take your nutrition and mindset to that next level, I would love to get to know you more. Head on over to JessBrownRD.com to explore things like the Well-Fueled Academy, one-on-one coaching, and all the free resources I have to help you live, eat, and fuel your awesome. Until next time, sister, have an amazing day. Cheers and happy eating.